Emotions tend to build up, and we tend to push them away as they build up because we've been taught to resist things that don't feel good instead of feel the things that don't feel good. And we look for answers, and the problem is that the answers aren't out in our world, they're inside us, because the feelings are from inside us.
When I look at the mathematics I've written and the concepts that these mathematics bring, it shows that within every proton, every subatomic particle in the nuclei of atoms is all the energy, all the information of all other atoms in the universe. So when we go inwards is when we actually connect with that oneness, with that connectivity of all things.
And we call these trapped emotions patterns, but we do experience them that way. If it's an experience that we have not completed and come back to self, we do find a way to keep repeating those experiences. And so we re-traumatize ourselves. We pick partners that create the same emotional dynamics, the same physiological disabilities, because our energy is not flowing.
One of the most amazing discoveries is the discovery that 90% of our energy is being used to suppress energy from our past. And when you can get access to that suppressed energy and release it, all the energy we're using to suppress, you get back.
Because your body is recreating itself all the time. Literally, this is your story. Your biology is your biography. And what we want is we want to get all the stuff out of the cells. We want the new cell, when it goes over to replicate, to come over to this guy, to the new cell that's being created, and say, I've got nothing.
Well, you know, during the last 10 years that I was in practice, I was working with some of the sickest people on the planet, people who had been told that there was no cure for them, people who were suffering from things like cancer or chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, lupus, and other diseases. What I found was that the subconscious mind absolutely holds the key to understanding the true underlying reasons why those people were sick.
Now, our subconscious mind from conception to puberty, primarily conception to 7 years of age, is programmed with emotions, memories.
From the beginning of your birth, you start encoding the world in good experiences and bad experiences, and the unconscious mind holds this and stores it and makes it real to your conscious mind later on in life. We're successfully producing whatever it is we produce. If you're depressed, you're doing something correctly inside your mind. If you have pain inside your mind, there's a resource to help create and manifest it in a belief system.
We're often taught, you know, starting at an early age, you know, you can have a child who's crying and they're distracting everyone, and what do the parents do? They say, you know, stop. You know, be quiet, shut that down. Men really have a lot of difficulty because they haven't been allowed to feel their emotions. You know, there's many sayings, you know, big boys don't cry. So you will have a strong experience with a lot of emotion, but then it gets shut down. And when that happens, it gets stuck in the body. And that is how disease gets created. That's how energy drains from us. That is how we become disconnected. And really, Western medicine really wants to just go in and cut things out and call it a day. But what happens is what created that cancer, that disease in the first place, is still in the cells.
Have you ever noticed that when you have a headache, if you focus on the headache, it gets worse and it amplifies and your emotions get involved. And now you're in total chaos and you think you need some kind of medical drug to kill the pain. That doesn't cure anything. That's a neurotoxin and it just blocks the electric signal. Get to the cause. What is the negative source, the toxic emotion and/or the toxicity of something that you're eating and drinking that's also affecting your emotions in a negative way? Detox it, clear it.
What I have found is that 90% of all the pain that we experience is due to trapped emotions, to emotional baggage. I think that this is really the elephant in the living room in Western medicine that we are missing completely. When people are in pain, in Western medicine, we give them drugs to suppress that pain. When people have diseases, we give them medications to suppress the symptoms of those diseases, when in reality, those symptoms are the body crying out, telling us there's something wrong here. And the single biggest imbalance that we suffer from is emotional baggage, our trapped emotions, those energies that stay with us after these traumatic emotional events that we suffer from.
And so what happens in today's world, because of what we have set up that we call civilized society, so many of the things that are pushed upon the masses create negative emotional molecules. Once they're formed, they're real.
We live in the most toxic time on the planet. We are all flooded. We are flooded with environmental toxicity, heavy metals or chemicals or pesticides that are sprayed on our food. Negative emotions will be in your cells, and it's almost like they seal the toxicity in.
And you can't even get them out of the body unless you know how to. It's important we understand how to remove negative emotional molecules and restore them with positive emotional molecules. That's the very foundation of health, life, and longevity.